Welcome to Ancestral Wisdom, where the wisdom of the past guides our future. Today we're going to be talking about the rune Ingwaz, which in the dusky darkness that we have here, I hope you can see what it looks like. There's also an alternate form where the ends of the diamond come out and extend from the initial symbol. So we're going to talk today about what exactly that rune means, what you can do with that rune to make your life better and to understand the forces of the Futhark a little bit more intimately. So I have my trusty notes here to make sure that I don't forget to mention anything. So the first thing to think of when you see this rune is, well, the shape. I want you to think of a seed. So you basically have an enclosed, I have quite a few seeds here in the gazebo as I'm drying things in order to prepare for next year's plantings. And so basically, around me drying, you have garlic seed and wheat seed and quinoa seed on the floor over here, flax seed. I just had in my hand some fennel seeds. So all of the seeds that are drying around me that are getting ready to be preserved through the winter so that they can be planted in the spring, they all contain within them the potential, the vast potential for such variety of medicinal and edible crops. And so the seed, which contains within it the force of the variety of life, is part of the essence of Ingwaz. Now, Ing or Frey, or often known as Ingve Frey, is the name of a god, the male fertility god in the Norse pantheon, and very often the role of the god was undertaken by the May King in a similar way to the female counterpart being taken on by the May Queen. So this god has a very intimate role to play in the daily cultural life of our ancient ancestors and hopefully of ourselves. So look at the rune, it's the seed, the potential, the male aspect of fertility. And the counterpoint to that, of course, the female counterpart of that would be the earth. And you place the seed in the earth, of course. So the seed and Frey, and the counterpart is the earth. Now, another interesting aspect of this rune is that fertility and the male aspect of fertility is not only the seed with the potential for the variety of life, but it's also the aspect of nature which creates its own nutritional stability and sustainability. So what I mean by that is, for example, not only, let's take an oak tree, for example. So not only is the male aspect of fertility seen as the oak seed, which then can implant itself into the female earth, the soil, but also the leaves which fall from the oak tree every fall, every autumn, which blanket the earth and then break down and recycle the nutrients back into the earth. In other words, that which feeds the female is also considered an aspect of Ing or Frey. So it's sustainability, it's nutrient cycling to the earth. And since we have the symbolism of the seed and of fertility, the exuberant vitality of life springing forth is an important component of this rune. And anything you see in nature which makes you feel intimately this fullness of life and energy. A carboy of mead bubbling with fermentation, grapes, grape clusters ripening on the vine, amber waves of grain, however you want to, or however you are able to interact with the symbolism of the abundance of the earth. Those symbols can be easily and intimately related to this particular rune. So how can you use that? That's what this rune symbolizes. How can you use this rune to make your life better? First, fertility. My I very rarely, if ever, tell stories that are intimate, and I'm not sure whether I should, but it's appropriate in this context. So, my wife and I were trying to have children for quite some time, and we went to celebrate Frey. Uh, we were invited to a celebration of the god Ingve Frey, and we had a pig roast, and we had a wonderful time with many like-minded people. And while we were there, a couple who we had never met, most of the people there we had never met before, but there was a couple with two children, and they came up to my wife and I at the end of the celebrations when we were about to leave, and they said, you know, we have something with us, and we're not sure why we brought it, but when we saw you, we knew that it was for you. And it was a bind rune, a set of bind runes, powerful magic related to the god Ingve Frey. And my wife and I are fairly certain that our first child was conceived within a week of the gift that was given to us with the rune. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that if you've seen any of my videos on magic and exactly how magic works, then you'll know that I'm not exactly saying that creating a rune will magically give you the fertility that you need in order to bear a child. But it's possible that the intimacy of the gift and the experience of celebrating fertility with like-minded people was such a deep and emotional experience for us, where we felt intimately in our souls that we were able to bring a child into a world where they would be able to partake in the traditions of their ancestors without the poisons that they might otherwise encounter. It's very possible that the mental and spiritual and emotional atmosphere of that celebration, coupled with the focused intent of the gift, created changes within us physically on the deep cellular levels that made it possible for us to conceive a child. The power of the mind is amazing. And the environment can have a profound effect on the powers of the mind and the state of the mind. So, fertility rites, fertility magic, um, anything related to, I'm looking at my notes here just to make sure I don't miss anything, anything related to storage or transformation of power, ergo the symbolism of the seed, and and the abundant release of that potential energy. All of those things can be used, all of those concepts can be touched upon and incorporated into your meditative or magical workings by using this rune as a focus symbol. So I hope that that was that was helpful. And we only have two more runes to go in this series, and I'll be trying to get those videos posted as soon as I can. Ansus raido kena, bonjo hagalas, naudis isa yera, uas perro elgas, soilo tivas, bercano e womana, agus Ingwaz dega.